The other component that I really liked was his simplification, his
Mm-hmm.
process, how he used the power of three within the book and simplified it in a manner in which, we should approach uh, being a Stoic, a way in which we should approach on how to overcome obstacles. And we learn that within the three disciplines, right? The three disciplines he focused on is the perception, taking action, and our will.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of every chapter, his call to action. He had in there a call to action and what you may possibly encounter should you leverage the concepts in overcoming the obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
I really valued that as well. I was like, this book was well written.
I
It
valued his questions he would pose when in the first
Yes,
part when he would say, "Ask yourself, is it up to me?"
yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Because
absolutely.
a lot of times we're getting frustrated and we're getting challenged by things and not asking that question. And what is up to us and what is not up to us is super important.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because it helps
because
you to understand what you have the ability to control and what you don't have the ability to control, right? And
right.
that leads me into, our next part with regards to some of the chapters within the book and how in each discipline really broke it down even further. In the first discipline on perception, there was one chapter in there that just really spoke to me, and it was about recognizing your power.
Mhm.
Really having an understanding, what do I have the capability to control? And he talked about that middleweight boxer who was wrongly accused of a crime and he had to go to prison and he
Mhm.
had 3 life sentences.
Yep.
And he said, while they tried to box him in and take his
Mhm.
rights away from him, he refused to be treated like a prisoner.
Mhm.
While he didn't have power, he knew he was not powerless,
Mhm.
right? And so during the time, even though they aimed at ruining his life, he remained uplifted and he spent his time improving himself. And successfully after 19 years he improved himself so much he was able to get out of prison after 19 years. He did
Mhm.
not serve 3 life sentences,
No,
right?
and he also would not accept any money for what
Nothing.
he did not accept anything civilly, did
He
not go
said, "You
after
did what
them.
you do." Mm-hmm.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yep. Yep.
And
You
and
did.
that's
You
why
did.
I kind of calmed myself just last week and I said, you know what? People can be big and bad enough to do what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also be big and bad enough to do what you're gonna
Going
do
to do
and leave it at
exactly,
that. You
and
don't have
leave
to
it
go after nobody. You don't have to now when you have to go after them, you gotta go after them, but you don't have to take that position, especially if you've
correct.
been wronged.
Correct.
You don't
As
have to take that position. I think
and
we're taught to take that position.
well,
But I
he
learned something from that.
he learned the fact it's going to take time, and he allowed it that time. But during that time, it was going to take time in order for him to successfully find his way out of the situation. But he took that time, and during that time, and very similar with you said the name, I'm going to say it incorrect.
I
Um,
know I don't think I'm saying it right. Desmodine's or um
yes, but he knew it was going to take time in
uh-huh.
order to overcome, and he developed himself during that time of oppression,
Mm-hmm.
during that time of of being held back and not being permitted to
Right.
advance within life.
He went ahead and said, I'm gonna go ahead and put these pebbles in my mouth and practice
It,
talking with these
right.
pebbles in my mouth.
Yes, exactly, exactly, which was
Yeah.
and allowed him to become an amazing orator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just think to myself, how often do we get so confounded with the situation And we want the success or the ability to overcome to happen immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That we literally will lose ourselves going through that process. But if you give it the time and think about, like what you said earlier, well, okay, I can't do it this way over here. How can I effectuate and improve myself over here? And just think about it differently, have a different, take a, um, look at it differently,
Angles. He's
and
talked about taking a different angle.
taking a different angle, right? Taking a different angle. And so it made me think about, kind of what I went through and how, I was trying to get back in HR, and I was like, dang, I can't get in back into HR. What's going on? But a door finally opened in another area and I took it. Right. So I went into technology and love what I do in technology. But was observing some things that you were doing, something that my friend was doing, and I was like, well, shoot, I could kind of do what I was doing before in another capacity. And
Right.
proactive in the proactive is the way was born.